All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we move on to the consent agenda, I have a statement that I'd like to make, just to make our meetings a little more clear. This comes from, part of it comes from policy 1441, which is audience participation in a school board meeting. And because of some of the recent disruptions that we've had with our meetings and delays and interruptions, we need to fine-tune the procedure for our school board meetings. And so while you're attending a meeting here at the Florence School Board, this is the protocol that we're going to ask you to follow. This is also taken from the policy 1441. It is important for all participants to remember that board meetings are held in public but are not public meetings. Members of the public shall be recognized and allowed input during the meeting at the discretion of the chair. Going on with that, we're going to change the way we do things a little bit. First of all, there will be no talking or whispering from the audience. Second of all, anyone with a question or comment will come to the pulpit that we have provided. When they have come to the pulpit, they will not come to the pulpit until they have been recognized by whoever is the chairman. And once they've come to the pulpit, they will give their full name and address us as a full board. I want to caution that comments made at the pulpit, and this is also from our district policy, that the board will not hear complaints concerning school personnel nor against any person submitted connected with the school system. Such complaints shall be heard in closed executive session unless raised by the individual about who the comments are directed. We will also keep you under a time restraint, 3 minutes, unless we can see that you absolutely have to have more, but we will keep it to that so that our meetings can run smoother. One comment, so once you come to the pulpit and you have a comment about whatever it is that you have, say what you need to say, because that will be the only time that you will come on that particular agenda item. There are some items we have on the agenda that are motion items, and so when the motion has been opened, there is a time for discussion. That particular time frame is also when those in the audience, if they have a question or a comment about that particular item, they need to use that particular time, the discussion part of the motion. If you have a question about that, I will try to note as we're going down through the agenda what's going to be a motion and what is not. But there are some items that are just informational. Let's see. I'm also requiring that the comments be respectful and courteous by the individual, or they will be asked to sit down. And the last one is abuse of any of the following will be cause for expulsion from our meeting. All right, with that, we're going to move on to our consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting of November 8th, 2011.
Discussion?
I have a couple of corrections that we should make. Okay. In the meeting section where we set the Montel info meeting, that's actually November 15th instead of December 15th. And then farther down, I think we should get Kristen Nye's name correct.
I actually changed that. I pulled that from information I had, but then so was informed that it was indeed changed. So that is actually changed. I changed it after I sent them out. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so November. Because it makes it look like we're having another meeting next week.
Yep, you're right.
You're not up for that?
Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
And then I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the special board meeting from this, November 15th, 2011.
Further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we move on to December warrants.
I only had one question for my information. I think it's on page 4, number 2791. I don't know, POSUM or POSSUM water testing. I know it's not much of a payment, but I was just curious about.
What that's for.
Yeah.
We have our water tested monthly here in the district to verify that there's no contamination with it, so that the drinking water is safe. Okay. So we have hired an outside independent agency that comes in, takes water samples for us.
That's because we run it's a well with a public, yeah. Okay.
I don't have any questions.
That's all I had to.
Okay. Further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor?
I don't think we have a motion yet. I'll make a motion to accept
Okay,
December,
that would be great.
what do you call it again?
Warrant.
Warrant, thank you.
Second.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to focus first, please.
Yes, Kevin O'Brien. On the student activity warrants, last page, last warrant, Falcon View postage. Are you passing that warrant tonight?
No, that's one that's been written.
Are you not passing this warrant tonight as a board?
No, they're not.
So when did this warrant pass?
The extracurricular activity ones are not something that come before the board for approval before they are paid.
Madam Chair, can you check into the Montana codes about expenditures the board is not approving?
Expenditures of general funds.
I'm talking to the chairperson.
When you talk to the board, we can certainly have Mr. McGee offer his expertise on that particular subject.
Okay. So Chairperson Cornish, can I address you on this?
Yeah.
Can you look into the Montana codes about expenditures not passed by board members?
At this point, Mr. O'Brien, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
It is correct where the building is. With students and the way every other school goes as well. I know that.
Okay, did we vote on that?
No, we have a
Okay. Call for the question. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Did we need to do?
No, we do not need to do the Northwest Energy, the building arrived today, so we're in the process of some new warrants.
All right. We will set our next meeting date, which will be Tuesday, January 10th, 2012. Does that work for everybody?
Good on me.
All right.
Hold on one second.
Will you schedule it? Okay.
Yes.
It's okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right, then it's set for January 10th, 2012. All right, the next item on our agenda is public comment. Those in the audience, I need to remind you that public comment is for your ability to address the board about an item or an issue that is not of a personal nature or an item that's on the agenda. recognize that because it is not an item on the agenda, that the board cannot respond to that particular issue, whatever it might be. And if, in fact, you have something to present to the board, if you come to the podium and state your name, we would appreciate that. Mr. Bryant?
The nature of this letter that I received from the district, I'm wondering if I shouldn't ask for executive session in order to follow the rules that you set forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I can do that in public comment or not. Can I?
No.
Okay. Received a letter from the district office. Can I read it? It has a couple names on it. I mean, it's public information, right?
You may read it.
Okay, thanks, Vicki. John, I don't need your approval to read the meeting. It's a board meeting.
I know, but remember what I said before, that we as a board...
Right. Because when you also talked about things of personal nature that, you know, I want to make sure it's done right.
Let's give you a letter.
Mr. O'Brien, I've spoken with Mrs. Cornish regarding your request dated November 28th. We determined that these issues regarding the student activity account have been covered in past meetings, in past audits, and discussed in previous board meetings. Your suggestion to have an action item with regard to an independent audit performed of the student activity account as an inclusion to our December 6th school board meeting is denied. Thank you for your time and concern. I requested an agenda item, and this letter's telling me that one board member saw this. And I know you can respond in public comment, but you're saying you don't have to. I requested that we have an independent audit, and this letter tells me the superintendent and the chair denied it. There's 4 other board members here that represent taxpayers. You guys should all see that. You should all determine whether or not this is a valid item to go on an agenda. So I caution you on the way the business is conducted.
All right, is there any others that would like to? Yes.
Madam Chair and members of the school board, for the record, my name is Kristen Nye, and I have 2 students in the school. And I just wanted to remind all of you that we do have a holiday bazaar this weekend. It's a fundraiser for the elementary parent group, and then the food that's going to be sold there will be a fundraiser for the middle school parent group. And we would love to see you all there and help us raise more money for some of the activities we're hoping to do later this year. May I also have another comment? With regard to the letter that was just written, I just would like to be on the record that I have been following this issue for quite some time now, and I thank you for making that decision. It's really tough when there are disagreements with how business is conducted, but I think it's really important to be responsible with taxpayers' money. And if we've covered an issue, it's really important to move on and do this important business for our school. And I thank you for making that decision.
Anyone else? All right.
Can I respond to that?
You only get one time at public comment
On one issue.
on that, on whatever it is that you wanted to comment on. All right, correspondence. Any correspondence, Mr. O'Brien?
No correspondence at this time.
Okay, our next thing is a non-resident student application, and Mr. McGee, I'll send that over to you.
We have one family with 2 students that are currently in attendance at our school. The family has moved out of district. I would ask Ms. Schneider if she'd like to move into executive session for the board to do your applications, or you may leave it in open session.
Definitely not, okay. Okay, we're going to call our meeting back to order. I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the out-of-district attendance applications for Brendan and Claire Schneider.
Second.
For the discussion. Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you for coming. Great. We're going to move on to personnel.
We have the maternity leave request from the packet form. She's our choir teacher at the high school level. Emily is with the child, and as you read in the letter, she basically the year of the child collecting maternity and spending requesting. It's a good thing. So she's requesting maternity leave starting, I believe, it's April 16th through the remainder of the year.
I'd like that motion to approve Ms. Hack's to take time off from maternity leave. So it's to the end of the year.
From the 16th.
Okay, further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're going to move on to reports. It looks like our student council president is here, so we'll have to put by her. Mr. Gomelska.
I'm going to cover the two reports again. I have Mr. Bearlock over at the boosters meeting tonight. So at the high school, just a couple things going on since the last meeting, since we had a break in between and all that, not a whole lot going on. One of the things that's kind of exciting right now is we've been working with Florence Therapy and Wellness on they're willing to provide a certified athletic trainer for our activities. And so we have, right now the person's coming in, and it's, can't remember his first name, but it's Scotty Burton's older brother. So,
Okay.
so it's somebody from Florence and everything, so it's kind of a nice deal. He comes in at 2 different times on Monday, so that he can work with either the boys if they're going early, or the girls at 3:30-ish, and then again at 5 for the next group that's going. Works with them on different things, and we're in the process right now of putting together a plan, rule, policy type of thing for the student and activities handbook that would kind of govern how the coaches will respond to an athletic trainer's recommendations, if there's injury, that type of thing. So that way we can get the parents, the students, and the coaches all on the same page so everybody understands what's going on, with the number one goal of maintaining the safety and health of the student athlete. So kind of a neat deal right now. And that's just being provided to us free of charge. So it's kind of a neat deal. We're also working on concussion screening, also with Florence Therapy and Wellness, with getting a doctor, waiting for a doctor who said he would come on board to help us out with it. In that process, there's a couple different types of things that we could, or ways that we could go with concussion screening, but what we'll look at most likely is there's a computer-based program that you buy, the school would buy for about $250, and it gives a baseline on a student prior to having a concussion. So at the beginning of the season, all students would come in, or all the athletes would come in. They'd take this baseline screening. Then if we were afraid they had a concussion, we would have that printout. It would go to the physician who would know how to read it. And then a decision would be made on when that student could come back. And there'd be criteria set up. And it's, again, we're looking at the safety and wellness of the student athletes. So that's what's going on there. We have we just finished up the My Voice survey with our students. It's a free survey that the state has purchased, actually 4 schools in the state of Montana. And so we're utilizing that just to kind of see what's going on with how students perceive the school, academics, teachers, relationships, that type of thing. It took probably about 15 minutes for the students to complete it. Each student completed, and they did it in English class, so pretty good deal. We're going to tie that into our MBI process, where we're trying to put together some good plans for continuing the positive climate of the school. And it's not easy sometimes to do that, but we're going to keep working on it. So that's what's going on with the high school. Then we have, and tied in again with athletics, we received again the U.S. Bank Sportsmanship Program certificate for sportsmanship of not having anybody ejected during the 2010-2011 school year from a sporting contest, either student, athlete, or coach. So it's a pretty good deal. We have the fruit stuff's going on right now. The fruit is in, so if anybody ordered any, please go get it. They want to get rid of it so that Mrs. Kirby can turn the heat on in the band room.
Like a rush of air that comes out of there.
You always know when the fruit comes that we're having a cold snap, so that's just automatic. It never fails. The last night, the Booster Club helped put on a feed for the wrestling, girls basketball, and boys basketball programs, and we appreciated that. Wrestling had a really nice weekend last week in Cascade. We had 3 champs and 2 that took 4th place. So that was really impressive. I think in the past we've only had 2 take 1st place, and so having 3 plus the other 4th places is really nice. Tonight they traveled to Arley, and then Saturday they're going to Hamilton. They were supposed to do one on Thursday in Mission, but we're going to actually switch that to next week because it's kind of crammed up for this week. We have girls basketball and boys basketball travel to Manhattan Friday and Saturday to play Ennis and Whitehall. If you recall, that's a tournament that we go to that actually, with the gate that they charge, activity passes and all that don't count. So it's just a full gate, and that money then goes in to reimburse the teams for actually coming. So it's kind of a nice deal. And then lastly, but maybe most important, we have 3 former players from Florence Falcons boys basketball teams that will be playing tomorrow night, or intend tomorrow night anyway. They'll be 2 will play against the Grizz. We have Adam Greger and Reed Bearlock will be playing, and Quinn Smith should be there too. He's redshirting this year, so the Montana Tech plays the Grizz tomorrow night, so it should be exciting. And we do, I know our tickets were provided so that some of our kids could be going, so kind of a neat deal. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Evan, will you tell us?
Our 4th grade students had their music program last month, and they did an excellent job. And tomorrow night, the 5th grade students will be having their music and band concert. So that's at 7 in the old gym if you'd like to attend. With our cookie dough money, I just recently ordered 3 new Promethean boards that will bring us to 14 at the elementary level, which is really exciting. It's exciting to go in the classrooms and see the students working at the boards, the teachers teaching in a whole new way. So we're very excited that we have that opportunity to purchase additional Promethean boards. So excited about that. Again, invite you to the Holiday Bazaar on Saturday. Santa will be paying us a visit, so come and see him. The Student Council is working on the Shopko trip, where elementary students are invited. We have such a great need this year that the Howard Grapp Family Foundation is also assisting with that endeavor. And I'd like to say that even though the need is so great in our community, we've had a share tree in the elementary, and I'm amazed at the generosity of the community that those ornaments were snapped up so quickly, and we had parents coming in, and we had run out of ornaments, so we were actually able to have the Civic Club provide us with another family to assist. So I just think that's really great this time of year. The elementary has gotten onto the Swiss website, which is a data collection for our discipline that helps us make database decisions. The middle school's already been doing that, but now the elementary is also going to be taking advantage of that tool for our NBI data.
All right, thank you. Middle school has band concerts. Thursday night starts at 7:30. Choir concert on the 15th also starts at 7:30. Welcome to attend.
As part of MBI, we are also taking the My Voice survey. This is our second year taking it. And we're going to take that information this year and then form student focus groups. And using that information, we'll compile some questions that we're going to ask our students to answer. We'll use that information to bring about improvement in school climate. I went to Hamilton last Friday, took Mrs. Anderson and Ms. Model with me, and we watched a student focus group down at Hamilton Middle School. It was real interesting, and I think we're ready to proceed with that ourselves. RTI, we have the math booster class. During our music classes, Ms. Model and Mrs. Anderson teach mini lessons during that time. They do that 3 days a week. I've talked about it before. Seems to be well received by students and parents, and we'll be monitoring those students' progress throughout the year using the MAPS testing and CRT tests in the spring. Winding up basketball this week, and then we have a break till February before we have any more sports. That's it.
This past month, I've been working with the Missoula County Health Department on a program called Health Fandango. Missoula County Health Department has received a large grant and want to include the Florence School District, since our district does extend into their county, as part of the research that they're trying to do for this grant. What they're asking us to do is to allow them to come in and to measure the body mass index of our students. We, as a school, looked at what they were asking and found that there is some grants that are out there that this is going to help us to apply for. And so we're going to try to do the body mass index of all of our student body, and we will get notification out to parents and explanation as to what's going to happen. Now, being a part of that, one of the offshoots of this that comes with it is that 6th grade students at our school will end up receiving free pass to the YMCA. So they'll get a membership to the Y. They'll get a membership to Currents in the summer, so that they can experience an active lifestyle that's healthier. They're doing this for all the 6th grade schools that are involved with this program. But essentially what it is, they're just collecting data at this point. What we give them in terms of body mass index is all that they want from us at this point. And once they collect their raw data, they will apply for a second grant to apply it to whatever standards they have said that they'd like to research. And we believe that there's some added benefits to our school district by allowing this. And so, as a team, the administrators and the teachers from the PE program sat down, listened to their presentation, and came to a conclusion. It's like a pretty good thing to do, and we'll just have to get organized now and notify the parents what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and why it's going to happen. And then we'll have some benefits. Missoula Mobile Library Service. You might be aware that you've seen it 2 or 3 times parked in our parking lot out here. It's a big mobile bus that comes in and is providing adult learning type internet services to adults in our community, and even younger kids if they want to come by their homeschool, if they want to come by and stop in there. The librarians from Missoula will sit down and help them learn how to use the computer and how to do searches on the computer. We're still working to get the connection with our network so that they have a faster internet connection. We're working on that. Our tech had some issues this past month that he was unable to be at work for quite a bit of that time. So we're a little bit behind, but we're getting caught up and get that hooked up and working on what it was. Common Core standards. The state adopted a policy where they're going to implement Common Core learning standards for curriculum across the board for everybody in the state of Montana. They had a workshop this past week, but due to the storm advisory the day that we were supposed to leave, we canceled. We were set up to take our administrators and myself up there to learn about this, and it just, they were calling for 8 to 12 inches of snow on the following path. We got on the website, checked the weather, and the paths looked icy already before the snow was going to hit. I thought, hey, it's not good. They'll do it at a different time in the spring, I hope, and we'll get in on the training at that time. Website development, we are having the switch over later this month with our SchoolWire's website. We're going to update it, get the information cleaned up on it, and then we're going to connect it into a Facebook page and get a Facebook page up and operational for the district, so that when people want to see information about the school district, they have an official school Facebook page and an official school website to go to learn about Florence Carlton School. So we're looking forward to that transition happening here soon. With regard to the Department of Commerce grant that we put in almost a year ago for some additional training on facility. As you were aware, it was supposed to be handled in September, but because they had an exodus of several people from the Department of Commerce who handled that facility planning grant, they postponed it. Talked with Nick Salmon with CTA, and he has told me that they're hoping to release information about the 15th or 17th of this month, so we should know whether or not our proposal ends up getting funded or not. And if we do get some funding, then we're going to go back to the core group that was involved for last November in the planning, and we will bring them back, and we will take step 2 in the process of refining and developing the ideas a little bit further, and then coming and presenting to the board the refined ideas. And finally, school notification system. The school district is going through the transformation right now of taking its student database information and putting it into the School Reach notification system. School Reach is a notifier that if we have school closure, we will be able to send out a message to every parent via Twitter, via the phone, email, and we'll be able to let them know that the school has actually been officially closed. It is also a tool that's going to be beneficial in that the hot lunch program, the ladies will be able to streamline what they do in terms of notifying those students that are close to being over in their account, or those that have gone over in their account, so that instead of typing out these letters and sending these little pieces of paper home, that we'll be able to use this notifier to get a hold of those parents and let them know via an electronic message. And also for secretaries in the office. The secretaries in the office spend a good part of their day at first thing in the morning calling up parents and saying, your child is absent from school. The notifier will be able to just click names on a computer, computer-generated message out, and tell the parent, please call the school, your child is not showing up to school today. Let us know if it's correct, and they can get that message out within minutes instead of taking up to 45 minutes of their time making phone calls and getting busy signals and stuff. If the notifier does get a busy signal, then it keeps calling back. And then it comes back and it generates a report to us, how it called out and what it did. We have documentation that we can support. If the parents say, well, I didn't get notified, I turn around and say, well, it shows that your phone picked up at this time, or it showed that there was a busy signal for 3 hours or whatever. So it'll be a good way for us to improve communication with parents and to get the word out when there are events like school closures. And that's my report.
Okay. Old business.
Old business. Montana High School Association. We had a complaint and it was brought to your attention last month about the boys basketball program possibly being in violation of MSHA rules. The school district has sent an initial report to MSHA. We're still compiling some more information, and process is still ongoing at this time. We still have some further discussion and information to share. So once that process is complete, we'll bring it forward to our board. I wanted you to be aware that we're still an ongoing active investigation at this time.
Then the superintendent salary discussion.
Superintendent salary discussion item. This was an item that was submitted by Mr. O'Brien to be discussed. He'd asked for 2 items for this agenda, and so we'll leave it to Mr. O'Brien to present it. He's not here. We should table this item and move on.
Okay, then we'll table this. Okay, we're going to move on to new business.
Out-of-state travel request. Mr. Craig Kuchel has put in a request to attend the annual Science and Partners Conference in San Diego. This is a conference where he has attended in past years, and he gets a lot of benefit from it, and the school district gets the benefit of the training and experience that comes back from this conference. All he's asking for at this time is the approval of the board. The district does not have any money to support this travel, therefore we are only going to provide professional development training and support on this.
I move to approve Mr. Kuchel's request to attend the 2012 Partners in Science Conference in San Diego, California, January 13th.
Discussion. Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
And moving on to Safe Routes to School grant application.
Well, I am pleased to announce we have a school Safe Routes to School grant application again this year that we are submitting, and I am more excited this year than I've ever been with regard to this grant. Roger DeBrito is a pretty amazing fellow when it gets down to the kind of legwork that he does in terms of trying to help the school district. The other day, I came down and I was driving to work, and I knew that he was going to have a gentleman with him, and he'd actually contacted Taylor Longsdale, who's one of the bigwigs in this grant program, and he convinced him to come down to Florence and be here at 7:30 in the morning on a bicycle when it was freezing cold last week, to drive around and challenge him to drive down Long Avenue at the peak of everybody coming with their kids. Taylor respectfully declined to endanger his life, I guess. But he was extremely impressed with, Taylor was extremely impressed with the dedication that the county commissioner showed in using CTEP dollars to redesign the front of the school building here. And so we talked about in this upcoming Safe Routes to School grant that we're going to look at talking to the county commissioners and seeing if they'll make a much smaller match towards our grant, and then we'll make a smaller match than we did last time, and then see if we can't stimulate through these matches to get the state of Montana to jump in and do something in terms of creating a path from the school to the new highway. Because that's where, we really felt it hit the road was. You have all these kids coming to school, they might be riding their bikes, and they might want to get on that trail so they can head back towards Trader Brothers. Well, the fact is, he saw firsthand the dangers, and he stuck around all morning and watched that, and then he turned around and came back in the afternoon and he witnessed again in the afternoon what was going on. Not only that, Taylor was impressed with the fact that we were one of the schools that ended up receiving the grant last year, where we are going to get the trailer full of bicycles to train our kids on how to travel on a bike to and from school. And then he also ended up getting to see the research that has gone in. And there was a whole unit that the kids did where there was a grid put out on the trail, and the kids would be riding their bikes along the grid, and all of a sudden they had to go at a certain rate of speed, which there was this flag on the trail that moved at a rate of speed. And Roger had one of his son-in-laws on a bicycle down there, pedal on a pedal that had this flag going on, a rope up and down the trail. And so then all of a sudden the kids were asked to look over their shoulder, and you could see on this grid how far they traveled at that rate of speed off their sight line of the path. And they talked about if a kid's driving down the road and they hear a car coming and they look over their shoulder, what's going to be the natural tendency? And we were able to train our kids in terms of how should you hold your handlebars and how should you actually look for a vehicle that's coming up behind you. Because if your natural reaction is you're going to go right into their path. And so Taylor had a chance to see what we are doing with our curriculum in this respect, and he gave some, he didn't say we'd get a grant, but he gave some very strong indications that he was impressed and he looked forward to seeing what our grant would have to say. Typically, they do not fund that level of infrastructure development, but what we are looking at, and in your packet you'll see pictures of the trail on both sides, Long Avenue, the concrete curbing, and, you know, making it safe for kids to get to and from. And in the grant, it's actually showing that, you know, we're going to put a sidewalk on the east side of Old Highway 93 from the corner by the Hoff's house there all the way down to the corner of the subdivision, so that the subdivision, those kids can get right on there and get to the school from there. So we're looking at that, and so what we're asking the board to do at this time is to move to authorize the use of $15,875 for this grant in the event that we get it. Please remember that back in 2008, when a levy was passed, $50,000 of that money, we told the public would always be earmarked for infrastructure development in our school, so that we'd always have that in our line item. That is the money that we use to match this project out here. And so what I'm saying is, you know, out of that $50,000, I would like to be able to match this, because I believe if we're able to come up with $15,000 and the county comes up with $45,000 and the state comes up with $300,000, that's a good investment in our community and for our students.
I'll move. Sure.
Further discussion? No.
Well, I just was wondering, I guess we'd have to ask teachers. Are they're mainly the ones that park down along Avenue? Because we got all this nice new parking up here, how much trouble would it be to park up here and no parking along Avenue?
That's something we can consider. Because now that we do have the big parking lot, you know, and if we ended up getting the grant, as you can see, the parking there would go away. You know, instead of trailing, go on that side of the street.
I think the double parking down here is what's really bad. When the parents drop the kids off and there seems to be such a congestion.
I personally don't think we need to wait for the grant to be approved to eliminate parking along there. I think that would make things much safer.
If you, I sit down there in the afternoon, and once in a while pick up somebody, and it's scary to watch right now, little kids and ice.
Yeah.
And some people don't have much regard for ice. They speed right through there. It's a real dangerous situation.
Well, certainly we'll start working on that, and we will talk with the staff and include the staff in on, you know, how we're going to manage that situation.
I think it's great to have this big parking lot out
Well,
there.
that's nice for them.
All this area just, it's so nice. I hear a lot of comments, good comments on it.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that's, so great to have somebody out here actually witnessing that, you know, in the hierarchy that could possibly, you know, have a difference in us getting the grant or not. What a great idea.
That's Roger.
Wow, that's awesome. Because, yeah, you don't, you can tell, you can, words are okay, but if you can get a visual about what you're actually dealing with, that's perfect. I'll have to fix on the thing you think about. Okay, do we have, we have a motion to discuss on. Call for the question? All those in favor? Aye. All right. Seth, Christmas gathering.
Just for your information, the 21st of December, we have the Christmas gathering. You are invited to attend. And Former teachers are also welcome to attend.
Thank you. Okay. We'll move on to policy.
Policy.
First one is 2311.
Do we have copies of that?
There were copies.
I fished mine out of last month's envelope.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that.
This is the one that, Mike, you had
Do you want to go?
interested in changing, looking at.
I've got mine.
Where it's underlined there.
Oh, yeah.
Your copies on my copies.
Okay.
I've got my books, you don't have them. Oh, you can say,
Thanks.
see the branch on the tree.
We need more trees along.
Okay, I guess we could beat that for a couple of minutes, if we're going to use that.
Are you gonna remind everybody how good a job I did at hearing?
I will tell them that you get the star.
I think this is appropriate for
Your copy, she emailed me, or she emailed me. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's.
You can just print it.
But we said here in our minutes, on the 15th, that we should turn them in by December 13th. The regular meeting.
Yeah, you got a meeting. Yeah. You got a meeting.
When are we going to discuss this?
Yeah, I never got a chance to go.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
But you guys
I know that.
Yeah.
No. No.
Boy, we're-
Have fun up there.
Well, yeah, just wanna make sure this-
What he does, he'll set you up, a
You just want to-
password and a remote log on address. And basically, if you just go to mail and it's Florence Girls Week, whatever the, the.
Yeah,
Just
she
like
does.
look at your mail and you look at your, Outlook box and things like that, it's the same idea.
Yeah, mine up.
In fact, I'd have to ask him to get one.
Yeah.
Did you go through the Florence?
No, she didn't. She had,
I remember that from here.
Well, the only thing the big reason is when I get somebody, because that's on the website, it's for them to contact you. And then I've got, given it out for, this caucus thing that I've gotten involved in. It's very technical, so we want to get a bunch of, Jerry has that slides down, if you aren't getting something that you expect to get, he's got like, he has a white that's really, like,
Now you can.
I just forgot we
I
had.
know, I do too. What's his name here?
kind of like the ways went up the second.
He had shoulder
All the ladies up there.
No, correct, those folks.
Yeah, I think so. But I got your lady, maybe they call me back.
I just had my little notes on here that I had made when we talked about it.
Okay. Well, call our meeting back to order. We're on policy 2311, instructional materials.
Okay, so Mike, you had a question on policy 2311?
Yeah, let's see. I think last time we were talking about whether this 6 bullet point pick in an accurate and unbiased way covered my concern about having that our textbooks were accurate. And if this statement does, it says depict in an accurate and unbiased way the cultural diversity and pluralistic nature of American society. And I think didn't we talk about possibly adding one more bullet point there?
I didn't write down what you said.
I know, I'm sorry I didn't bring my copy from last week, so.
I know we talked, and I know you're concerned with some accuracy.
Yeah.
Accuracy within the material.
Could we table this one till next time?
Yeah, we could table
And I'll make sure I bring my notes.
Well, you know, and I'm going to add into this, you know, when we start talking about accuracy of learning material, as we now are in this information age with the internet, one of the newer things that is out there that teachers are beginning to do, especially with these Promethean boards, is they're beginning to design curriculum webs. And with the curriculum web, they're using internet resources to teach a concept or an idea. For example, let's say they're talking about the extinction of the silverback gorilla. And let's say that's something on extinction that they're trying to get a concept, and they want kids to research that on the internet. There are good sources and there are bad sources of information. And where the teacher should be pulling that information from are things like EDU and those types of resource sites to grab quality information. Or if they don't go to quality information sites, they might be pulling in bad information that's giving the wrong idea on that species or that animal. So I think I will give you a call and we can work on what that statement could be on a bullet point that would cover the contents, because it's in the old days we worry about just textbooks, but today it's true. It's broader. It's more resources at our disposal.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay, I'm going to move on to 2312 copyright. And I think this is kind of no-brainer. We're okay.
Yeah, I guess following federal copyright law.
Right,
So we can't really do anything about
And the next one is 2320 field trip excursions and outdoor education.
Yeah, the only one we had a question was that one.
What's yours, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page.
And if, Madam Chairman, if I may, the one thing that you guys did do last time too,
Dan, if you accept it.
yeah, is you tied, sorry, one of the things that you did last time too is you tied that 2330 back to Mike's question on 2311, in that with the accurate things and stuff like that, with using the accurate textbooks and curriculum of controversial issues and how to deal with that, because it talks a little bit with the teachers on how to deal with those controversial issues when something comes up when it might not be that. That was just to remind me.
Okay, thank you.
So in 2311, we're following on reference 2330.
So you set those two aside, come back to those two?
I don't think 2330 is something we have to change.
Okay.
No, we just need to
We're just
reference
going to
it.
reference it. Back to that first one. Okay. All right. So if there's no other questions about those particular policies, that other than 2311, we could move to approve 2312 to 2325 on second reading.
And it's actually 2335.
Is it 2335?
Yeah,
Yes,
she
right.
is 2335.
Okay. Can you so move?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
I'll second.
Okay, further discussion? No?
A little bit ago, you didn't make the meeting, but the Common Core standards, would that be an issue there? 23 at 11? What if somebody else is making up the,
No, they're just, what they're setting is the learner goals and objectives in the Common Core standards. They're not dictating the material that would be used, they're just dictating the learner objectives and benchmarks that you would have to obtain. For example, a child will learn to read and write by the second grade. Could be a goal or objective that the state mandate. What material goes into meeting that goal is for local control, and that's where 2311 we would be saying we want quality material that isn't biased, that is helping us to obtain that goal.
but you get the local control?
We still have the local control over the material we use and how we want to approach meeting that benchmark standard. That is a very good question.
So if the Common Core guys get a thing going, then that potentially would mean that we'd have to review some of this again if there's changes, but at this moment, they don't have anything firm, right?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, any other questions?
All right, call for the question. All those in favor? Aye. This meeting's adjourned.
Going there now.
Go another hour.
They complain, we don't do long, they complain, we don't go long enough.
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on, Mike? Not that set, just playing the business on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to go?